We all crave good quality fresh food. We want to know where it comes from and how it's produced. Urban food markets, the bellies of our cities, sell fresh, seasonal produce brought to the market each day with no fancy packaging. What you see is what you get. Our series explores the big bellies of Freiburg in Germany, Florence in Italy, the Latvian capital Riga, Toulouse in France, and the Croatian capital Zagreb. The markets are a melting pot of unique regional flavors, a bridge between town and country. Breisgau in southwest Germany is home to the mighty Black Forest and the Kaiserstuhl. Known as the German Tuscany, its gentle slopes are covered in lush vineyards. It has the country's mildest climate. At its heart lies Freiburg, the region's largest city, famous for its Bächle, or water channels. The 12th century cathedral towers over a network of cycle lanes and a vibrant, eco-friendly culture. In the shadow of the Gothic cathedral sits Freiburg's famous food market, the Münstermarkt. Here, food lovers can choose from 160 stalls selling the very best regional produce. 6 days a week, for more than 600 years, the stalls have been set up every morning and packed away in the afternoon. Here you can sample local wines, freshwater trout, Black Forest gâteau, and a huge variety of delicious fruit and vegetables. And of course, there's the famous Black Forest ham. On one side of the square are the retailers. On the other, farmers sell their own produce. It's here we find Wilfried Hiss, who farms in a village not far north of Freiburg.
So, 1,70 bitte. Ja, passt. Jawohl, danke schön.
Wilfried specializes in growing and selling heritage vegetables, the old varieties which are no longer widely cultivated.
Vegetables from Eichstätten have been sold at the Münstermarkt for more than 100 years. You won't find such a range of produce anywhere else in Germany.
Why are they called heritage carrots? Is this what they used to look like?
Yes, in the old days, carrots weren't orange. They were introduced at the turn of the century.
Maybe I'll take 3 of those.
No problem. I'll put them together.
Wilfried inherited both the stall and family farm from his father, who in turn took it over from his father after the Second World War. It was Wilfried's grandmother who started selling farm produce on the market.
I've been coming to the Münstermarkt since I was a toddler. I earned my first pocket money selling bunches of parsley and chives. Have you got any regular ones?
Yes, I do.
What's this? It's called volcano asparagus, because the tips are so big. You can braise the leaves to make a salad. It tells you all about it in here. But if you need to know more, my colleague is an expert.
Is it a sort of dandelion?
It's a kind of chicory. It can be quite bitter, but you can wash it in warm water. Bye.
Despite having a lot of land, Wilfried still likes to farm in the traditional family way. He's very hands-on and stresses the importance of knowing every detail. He encourages the youngsters to get stuck in and share his farming philosophy.
I believe we have to farm as sustainably and naturally as possible if we're going to leave the land in good condition for the next generation. That means keeping the earth fertile and preserving the structure of the soil. We've got to learn from the past. It's unsustainable to use damaging fertilizer and chemical pesticides.
Wilfried resists the modern monoculture trend, and instead he's constantly looking to reintroduce old varieties.
There are occasional references to asparagus chicory in the old cookery books from the 16th to 18th centuries. But then it suddenly disappeared from our region. Later, when people wanted to grow it again, they found some seeds in a small province in Italy. So they started to reintroduce the volcano asparagus back here and found the climate suits it perfectly. People who buy their produce in the market are making a stand against glossy packaging and processed food.
The shoppers at the Münstermarkt know they can trust Wilfried. His vegetables are all shapes, colours and sizes, and they may not have perfect skin, but they taste great. The jewel in the crown of Breisgau's vegetables must surely be the white asparagus. Sylvia Burggraf has been growing asparagus for 30 years. She puts her success down to the wisdom passed from generation to generation. The soil round here is perfect for growing white asparagus, sometimes known as the royal vegetable, but it also has a more sinister name, the vampire vegetable.
Asparagus gets its taste from the soil. Around villages such as Mengen and Munzigen, it's a mixture of clay and sand. That's what gives it its unique flavour.
To avoid the asparagus turning green, they're deprived of all sunlight. They're planted in winter, and when the first shoots emerge, they're covered over. It's more labour-intensive, but it produces a subtler flavour and softer texture.
You should cut the asparagus spear so that it's at least 22 centimetres long. But if you cut it too near the ground, you'll damage the roots and the plant will probably die.
Asparagus is around 93% water, which means it's low in calories and sodium. It's important to clean them as soon as they're harvested, then store them cool and damp. They're sorted according to size. The bigger and straighter they are, the more expensive.
Asparagus is a real treat, and customers always prefer it fresh and straight from the field. Asparagus lovers know you have to pay a little more for the best quality and that it's worth the extra money. These ones are a bit bent and don't look as nice, but they taste just as good as the others. You must remember to peel the lower third, okay?
The asparagus season only lasts 8 to 10 weeks and is over by the summer. During this time, Sylvia sells, hence her nickname, the Asparagus Queen of the Münstermarkt.
Hello, Mrs. Borgraf.
Hello.
I'd like to collect the asparagus I ordered.
Yes, sure.
Category 1 for the Hotel Oberkirch.
Sure. Okay, how many do you want?
3 kilos.
Would you like me to pack it?
The best way to tell if asparagus is really fresh is to listen to it. If it squeaks, then it's only just out of the ground. The asparagus on Sylvia's stall squeaks all the time.
So, bitte schön.
Dankeschön, Frau Burggraf. Schönen Tag noch. Tschüss.
The best place to eat white asparagus is in one of the restaurants surrounding the market square. Here the chefs stick to simple, tried and tested asparagus dishes. Just butter, lightly salted water, a dash of lemon juice and a touch of sugar so it's not too bitter. Fried corn or wheat flour pancakes called kratzeter are torn into pieces and served with the asparagus, topped off with hollandaise sauce. There's nothing tastier than a plate of freshly harvested and cooked asparagus. It's the perfect combination of Mother Nature's fruits and warm summer sunshine.
Einen guten Appetit.
Dankeschön.
Another speciality of the Münstermarkt is the Black Forest trout, straight from local lakes and rivers. These ones on Gerhard Buhler's stall are rainbow or salmon trout.
This piece, it's about 600 grams, but this is the real star of the show. It's nearly 1.5 kilos. That'll make 3 portions. It's delicious, baked or grilled.
Do you have lake trout every day?
Yes, €6.50.
As well as fresh trout, Gerhard and his son sell home-smoked fish. You can take it away or eat it on the spot.
Guten Appetit.
Salmon trout has pink flesh and a distinctive rainbow stripe down the side. You can tell if the fish is really fresh by the bright eyes and slippery skin.
The name Black Forest trout is a trademark registered with the German authorities. They must be farmed according to tight regulations and, of course, within the boundaries of the Black Forest. This forest is one of Europe's most outstanding areas of natural beauty, yet it's barely a 20-minute drive from Freiburg. Hidden among the trees are more than 450 kilometers of footpaths, adventure trails and countless lakes. The powerful Danube has its source here, and the whole forest is crisscrossed by small rivers and streams. Gerhard, his son and his entire family rely on the forest for their livelihoods.
Ours is a typical Black Forest farm. It's a full-time job, and the rest of the family help out whenever they can. My wife is in charge of smoking, and my son gives a hand when he can. Together, we're trying to pass on the legacy my father left to us.
Gerhard's farm has been in his family since records began in 1634. The trout ponds date back to the 18th century.
The trout need plenty of fresh water and oxygen to flourish, and the terraces are designed so the water cascades from one to the next. Trout are very adaptable, and they quickly adjust to the water they're in.
Dirty water is no good for the delicate salmon trout, so pure forest springs are ideal for breeding.
Typical temperatures in the lakes are around 25 degrees Celsius, but the trout prefer the colder, oxygen-rich streams of the Black Forest. They're true forest fish. That's why they do so well here. This one's 450 grams, which tells us the bigger ones are now ready. Some are only 300 grams. Oh, this one's 500 grams. The smaller ones will need feeding up a bit over the next few days, and we'll reduce the feed for the larger ones so they don't get too big. Easy does it.
The trout are kept here for 3 years. The cooler the water, the slower they grow. The tastiest fish are the ones which are allowed to mature slowly. Further north and higher up the mountains is the remote farmhouse where Harry Schroeder settled 16 years ago. Harry has gradually unearthed all the little secrets of the forest. He knows precisely how and where to forage and live off the land.
I'm a witch doctor in disguise. I've always been interested in herbs. I get it from my grandmother. She's a real herb witch. She knew exactly when they were ready to be harvested in the woods. She passed all her knowledge on to me. Even when I'm sick, I prefer to heal myself rather than go to the pharmacy.
Harry knows the hidden places where herbs grow on the steep hillsides. His amazing memory always guides him back to the right spots. Beneath the dark canopy of fir trees which give the Black Forest its name, Harry gathers wild garlic, clover and sorrel to make different sorts of pesto.
Seriously, I'd be healthy and happy just living off roots and herbs. I want to spread the word. People have less and less money these days, so I want to show them it's easy to go foraging in the woods.
Harry knows there's a season for everything. Now, in the early summer, he collects fresh, tender herbs. Come the autumn, he'll pick wild berries. And winter is the time for digging roots.
Whenever possible, I cook the plants as soon as I've gathered them. I cut and wash the fresh herbs and blend them together with the rest of the ingredients. Then it's into the pot to be heated to exactly 56 degrees Celsius. That's the temperature needed to kill off any bugs, ready for sealing in jars.
The quantities are important. Clover and sorrel are an excellent tonic, but too much can be poisonous. Harry also makes chutneys using wild berries, nuts and carrots. The very best of nature's food store. Harry is one of the Münster Markt's real characters. When he comes to town, the Black Forest comes with him.
The rules of the market say farmers take precedence over retailers. So, if there's no room for my stall, a retailer has to make way for me.
Helmet off, hat on, Harry is open for business.
I'll take these two, please.
1 jar of wild garlic and 1 of wood sorrel. That's €8, please.
Harry's stall is probably the smallest on the market, and his favourite spot is in a quiet corner under the ancient cathedral walls.
The first hour is usually pretty quiet because people don't tend to come until around 10 or 11 o'clock. I get plenty of time to myself, and then gradually the customers start to come and buy. I recommend this one. It's wood sorrel. You don't know it, do you? It's very tasty.
Really?
Honestly.
If you want the authentic taste of the Black Forest, head for Harry's stall. Stallholder Paula Böcklin is the heart and soul of the market. She hasn't missed a single week since she started in 1948. Her daily routine is the same as her parents'. Mornings on the stall, afternoons in the fields, and the evenings spent preparing vegetables for the market.
So 2.20 and 80 makes €3. That's €5 altogether.
That's right.
Thanks. I've been on the market for 65 years. That's quite an achievement. For the first 10 years, I had to push everything on a hand cart, whatever the weather. Even now, I do everything from growing to preparing food for the market.
Paula is a familiar presence on the market, and shoppers always stop for a chat. She's known most of her customers since childhood and seen them grow up to have children and grandchildren of their own.
I turned 86 in May. I grow and sell the same produce as my parents did. I buy the seedlings, then cultivate them myself. Carrots, leek, salad, beetroot, spinach and lamb's lettuce.
It was lovely weather on Sunday.
Yes, but I was really tired. And again yesterday. I had to pick beans and prepare them. I didn't get enough sleep last night, and that puts you right out. Okay, you're next. If I stayed at home, I wouldn't meet many people. My customers are friends as well. But a lot of my older customers have already died.
For Paula, the market is her life, and in turn, she embodies the spirit of the Freiburg Münster Markt. The legendary Münsterwurst, or long red, is a tourist attraction in its own right. There are several stalls serving patient queues of customers. This sausage, made from finely ground pork and bacon, is street food at its best. They say that having a sausage stall on the market is a license to print money. But pork sausages are not the only sort to be so popular. Here they also sell a different kind of sausage, a soybean Münsterwurst. Wolfgang Heck spotted a gap in the market, and despite the famous German love of meat, he built a whole business on soy. The vegetarian version of the city's famous speciality has become popular in recent years and fits well with Freiburg's green image.
Hallo, grüß dich. Hallo. Salut.
How's it going today?
It's hot, but it's going well. Are you hungry?
I sure am. Let me think about it for a moment.
Für manche Menschen.
We're a real hidden gem in the middle of the Münstermarkt.
Es gibt andere, die
Some people don't take us seriously because they think we can't compete with meat sausages.
nicht an eine normale Wurst heranreichen, aber
But our regular customers really value us, whether they're vegetarians, vegans, or just looking for a change.
oder Leute, die mal was anderes essen wollen. Da haben wir einfach eine unglaublich hohe Wertigkeit.
Wolfgang makes his sausages using soy grown locally in the Kaiserstuhl, the range of hills just outside Freiburg. Europe imports most of its soybeans from Asia and South America. They tend to be genetically modified with little control over pesticides and other chemicals. Wolfgang set up a company to cultivate homegrown soy, hoping to reduce the 40 million tons of beans imported into the EU each year.
Ich träume davon, in
My vision is to cultivate soya beans in cooler regions like around here.
Sorten zu entwickeln.
I'm convinced we're not far off having soya varieties which will flourish in regions of Germany which were previously thought impossible.
Wovon man bisher nur noch träumen konnte.
Already 80% of Wolfgang's soy comes from Europe. His dream is coming true.
Also ich habe eine
I'm certain there's a better way to produce food.
neuen Form der Ernährung. Ich habe große Lust, dass man da
We need to get away from growing soya to feed animals
zu bekommen und sie
and use it for direct
für
food
Menschen
production.
nutzbar zu machen, in Form, dass man Nahrungsmittel daraus entwickelt. Dann hätten wir nämlich in
That would go a long way to
Mosaikstein
solving the problem of how we can
dieser
feed the
ganzen
world.
großen Welternährungsfrage.
The city of Freiburg is one of the biggest owners of forest in Germany. The aquifers beneath the trees feed the river Dreisam, which flows through the town. The old town is crisscrossed by narrow channels, about 20 centimeters deep, known as Bächle. They were originally built in the 13th century to keep the city clean, and they've been in continuous use ever since. Tradition has it that if a visitor falls in, they have to marry a local girl. Today, the water channels are a magnet for children. They spend hours playing with Bächle boats, bought from a stall in the corner of the market. The Reichenbach family have run their butcher's stall in the Münstermarkt since 1962. They specialise in Black Forest ham cured in the traditional way. These days, Ulrich is the boss. They claim to have the best-selling smoked ham in Europe. It's been protected since 1997 under the EU's protected designation of origin.
So, alles gut und reicht alles, die gesamte Mischung.
Kann aber der nächste holen, ja?
Die Schweine wäre ganz langsam gefüttert.
Our pigs are fattened up slowly, and we don't slaughter them till they're nearly a year old. The meat has a very dry texture. It's cured with herbs and juniper using a centuries-old family recipe handed down from my father's master butcher.
The ham is boneless with a thick rind of fat, renowned for the special flavour it gets from cold smoking. The process was perfected by farmers who smoked the meat over pine needles and sawdust in rural smokehouses.
We decided to build our own smokehouse to replicate the traditional smoking method, but of course in line with modern hygiene regulations. You can really taste the difference in the ham.
Unlike industrially produced ham where smoke and steam mix together, giving it a strong, pungent flavour, Ulrich's meat is mild and subtle.
Genuine Black Forest ham has a rounded, smoky taste because it's only smoked once before drying in the fresh air.
The meat must be dried for 50 days at 5 degrees Celsius. Then it's smoked over softwoods at 20 degrees. It's this slow, deliberate process that sets traditional smoking apart from modern industrial methods. The true taste of a timeless tradition. Built in 1733 as a guardhouse for the Austrian government, the Old Guard continued in military use when the city became part of the Grand Duchy of Baden in 1806. Restored a few years ago to its former glory, it's now a showcase for Baden's regional wines. This is the place to sample the very best from local vineyards. Pride of place goes to wines from the Kaiserstuhl, one of Germany's most important wine-growing areas.
Vielen Dank, Dankeschön.
Bettina Schulmann is the cellar master of one of the local vineyards.
Da haben wir jetzt ein bisschen was vor. Ja, passt zum guten Wetter. Genau. Dass wir ein paar Gläser überhaupt beginnen können. So.
She leads a young team growing the sometimes challenging Pinot Gris grape variety. The vineyard sits in the middle of the Kaiserstuhl, literally the emperor's chair. The hills are a patchwork of man-made terraces, carved out over the centuries from the rich volcanic soil. Pinot Gris grapes thrive in cooler climates like this. They mature early, producing an exciting, slightly spicy, full-bodied wine with characteristic pear and melon flavors.
Ich nehme dann meistens so ein Schorleglas voll sozusagen mit.
I squeeze a few grapes in the glass until I get enough juice to sample. Then I measure it to find the density of the must.
Da ermittle ich dann das Mostgewicht rein.
The Kaiserstuhl is divided into two distinct soil types. In the east, the iron-rich sandy clay called löss is ideal for light, sparkling wines. In the center and west, the volcanic soil produces wines which are more powerful and intense.
Für mich fängt halt alles im Boden an, dass man einen sehr lebendigen Boden
For me, everything depends on the quality of the earth. Soil which is full of insects and healthy biodiversity is soil which is good for wine growing.
wo halt auch die Rebe gerne drauf wächst.
The climate here is almost Mediterranean, with an average summer temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. Grapes have been grown here for millennia, but in the last few decades there have been some dramatic improvements.
Wenn ich dann die Trauben so nach Wunschmaß sozusagen.
Once the grapes are in the cellar, we need to extract the aromatic substances from the skin. We don't press the must straight after the harvest. We leave it to stand for a few hours, sometimes even for a whole day.
Das kann schon mal bis zu einem Tag sein.
Each year is different, and it's Bettina's job to know how to get the best out of the harvest from any given season.
Wenn es wirklich ein perfekter Most ist, schön reif.
When the must is really good quality, I try to ferment it without added yeast. Waiting for spontaneous fermentation gives the wine the most natural taste possible.
So natürlich wie möglich dann auch schmeckt.
The Archbishop's Cathedral has towered over the square and stalls for more than 600 years. The market is famed throughout Germany and beyond. To maintain its reputation and the quality of the products on sale, the city's authorities have brought in Mr. Walter Dreyer to manage the Münstermarkt. He's there every morning to greet the stallholders.
Good morning. I've got a place for you right here. Your next-door neighbor isn't here today, so you can spread yourself out a bit. I'll just walk ahead. The market rules are very old and very strict. We don't allow textile stalls and we restrict the number of food stalls. We really like to give priority to fresh fruit and vegetables.
Ja, der Hänger wir mal aber hinten noch stellen, haben wir gesagt. Stütze im Bach. Stopp! Gut.
There's a special camaraderie between the workers that makes the market unique.
When you walk through the market in the morning and say hello to everyone, you know straight away if there's anything wrong. Then I'll take one of them aside and have a quiet word. Maybe someone's crop has been destroyed by hail, a whole year's work ruined.
For Walter, managing the market is about much more than simply reinforcing the rules.
Good morning. Has everyone got their spot? Kopfni should arrive soon as usual, and then we'll be all right. There's a bit more room today, huh? We put the flowers a bit to one side, so now the passageway is all clear, all right?
Autumn arrives, and the Münstermarkt reflects the colours of the falling leaves. The fruit and vegetables on the stalls follow the rhythm as the seasons change. But in late October, it's a surprise to find strawberries and raspberries still on sale. Thomas Constanza sells different berries on this stall every day from May right through to November.
Soll ich es gleich essen? Ja, nee. Oder einpacken? Ja, ein. Ist die recht? Ja. Nehmen wir die.
These strawberries, blackberries, blueberries and raspberries were freshly picked just a few kilometers down the road from Freiburg.
People always ask me if they're grown in New Zealand or somewhere like that. When I say they're cultivated locally, they ask, what, in greenhouses? I tell them no, in the fields, and they still don't believe it. They think the berries wouldn't ripen outdoors. "20 minutes drive from the city, and Thomas has come to check if the berries are still ripening.
This one is of the first crops of autumn raspberry. It's always ahead of the others. It's not too dark and not too bright.
They taste good.
See for yourself. We'll have plenty of fruit into November. Well, at least until late October. All this blossom means we'll have raspberries still for 6 to 8 weeks.
The incredibly long fruit season is down to the region's unique microclimate and a completely sustainable approach. It provides employment to a number of people for 6 months of the year.
The strawberry seedlings are kept really cold until they're planted. Once in the soil, they think it's spring, and they'll produce fruit every 4 to 6 weeks. Thomas is rightly proud that he can supply Freiburg with fresh local fruit for so much of the year. It's not just shoppers who buy Thomas's amazing fruit. He also stocks local restaurants and other market stalls. They know they can trust him to supply only locally farmed produce. Well, Irenaeus, look at this. Have I got something special for you?
Let's have a taste. Fantastic.
Are you going to use them today?
I'll make a fresh strawberry jam with a dash of balsamic vinegar. It's a new recipe. These strawberries are just the right flavor for it.
I've already prepared the invoice.
Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
A few years ago, Irenaeus Frost and a few friends got together and started a business making jams, syrups and vinegars.
It's got lime in it and a splash of cachaça, just like the cocktail. It's got a lovely, strong taste. The Münstermarkt is my second home. With a shop, you have neighbors, but with a market stall, you have friends. This is cherry vinegar made from sweet and sour Black Forest cherries matured in an oak barrel for 6 months. Good health. It goes really well with tomatoes or with salad and with mozzarella. Well, it's like a poem.
Irenaeus uses his time on the market, getting to know what his customers like and to try out new recipes on them.
What are these? Blackberry, marzipan and wild berry. You should try the wild berry on pancakes, and the blackberry is great with yogurt. I'll even let you put it on bread. Barbara, what can I get you?
1 fig mustard and 1 poppy seed mustard.
Are you addicted to it?
Not me. It's a present for someone.
Great.
Cool.
Nothing beats good quality, homemade produce. I love it when people come back and tell me they liked it, or if they didn't. That's what makes the market special. It's all about the personal connection.
Autumn, and it's time for the elderberry harvest. For centuries, these plants were simply regarded as weeds.
Aber alles Deutsche, gell? Ja, aber es sind noch viele schöne dabei. Schöne, ja, ja. Wenn man das sieht, gell? Schon noch schöne große. Ja, ja.
Irenaeus uses different parts of the elder plant to make different products.
We used a lot of elderflowers to make syrup, and these berries will also make good syrup.
Yes, they've got a slightly stronger taste.
Elderberries are a superfood. They contain amino acids, carotenoids, flavonoids, and lots of vitamins. They reduce cholesterol and boost cardiac health and the immune system.
I know the farmer who grows the elderberries especially for me. I tell him the quantity of juice, berries and flowers I'm going to need, and he makes sure I get them.
Und der geht auch auf meine Wünsche ein.
Irenaeus has to heat the elderberry juice to boiling point because the raw berries are slightly poisonous.
Ich probiere gerne aus, ich experimentiere gerne. Ich war schon immer
I've always liked to try new things, ever since I was a child. I used to watch my mother and aunt cooking and think, how could I make that different?
Das hat mich schon immer interessiert und mir war auch schon immer wichtig, was kann ich damit noch machen?
What could I put with it? For me, that's the most exciting part.
Und das finde ich einfach sehr, sehr spannend.
The unusual combination of ingredients like elderberries, strawberries, figs and spices make for a surprising twist. No visit to the Münstermarkt is complete without sampling some of the tempting bread, cakes and pastries on display. Stefan Linder's stall always attracts a long queue of hungry customers. They're here to buy traditional Käsekuchen or German cheesecake made from Stefan's secret recipe.
Hello, what can I get you?
One plain, please.
One plain with pleasure.
Ich habe kein Geld gehabt, nichts. Bin dann eben zu meinem Freund, da fand die Idee klasse.
I had this idea and a friend of mine lent me the money to get started. We started baking in the afternoon and made 45 cakes in 9 hours. We didn't stop until 6 o'clock the next morning. I drove straight to the market without any sleep.
Schlaf, dann direkt auf den Markt gefahren, am Morgen. Ja. Danke vielmals. Schönen Tag Ihnen. Tschüss, danke schön. Hallo, grüß dich. Guten Morgen.
As soon as people tasted the cheesecake, it was a hit. I sold 41 cakes and cut the others up so people could sample it. I completely sold out. Word spread quickly. I get huge satisfaction from serving people and seeing them enjoy my cheesecake.
Glücklich machen mit dem Käsekuchen wie möglich. Vielen Dank. Schönes Wochenende wünsche ich Ihnen. Dankeschön.
Stefan has been perfecting his cheesecake for more than 10 years. No wonder they're so special. The ingredients themselves are deceptively simple: quark, lemon juice, cornstarch and vanilla. The secret of Stefan's cheesecake comes from using authentic ingredients combined with a passion for quality.
You have to do a lot of stirring and mixing to get the perfect light texture. It's all about blending everything together in the right proportions to give you an intense, natural flavor. You should end up with a well-rounded taste, which leaves you wanting more.
Everything Stefan uses is locally produced. Quark and cream from the Black Forest and eggs from Glottertal, just northeast of Freiburg.
It almost feels like cheesecake was my destiny. It's as though the cheesecake was waiting to become famous. I just had to make it happen.
From kitchen to market stall in less than 24 hours. The Münstermarkt, the belly of Freiburg, serves nothing but the best.
Vielen Dank, habt ein schönes Wochenende.